What's up everyone, Pokemon Trainer Mikey here with another Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl Wi-Fi battle. This time with a pretty random team I thought of last night, as most of my teams are pretty random. Pieced it together and went to the 2022-2021 link code and found myself a battle there. That's pretty much where you can find me if you want to battle me, or you can follow me on Twitter, Discord, and Twitch. I will post those links in my description. If you also want to subscribe to me, I am a relatively new YouTuber and I like to post random battles with fun teams. If that's what you're into, feel free to subscribe. Let's get right to the battle though. My opponent's team is definitely very cool, very threatening at the same time. Some classic OU mons like the Lucario, Tyranitar, and Mamoswine to be expected, along with some other cool underrated mons like Hitmonchan and Honchkrow. So definitely props to my opponent for bringing some other cool mons, because when you use this link code you kind of see the same thing over and over and it gets tiring. Now I'm going to lead with my Zapdos because I am predicting the predictable Ambipom lead, so if I can get this thing paralyzed with my static ability, that would be pretty cool. I'm also carrying some big heavy hitters like Mamoswine and Staraptor, and I have some defense with my Slowbro. So let's see what happens. He does go out into Ambipom as his lead. To be expected, it is a pretty good lead, as you know, Ambipom's great. I like to use Ambipom as lead when I can. And I'm thinking here, I could go for an electric type attack, but since Zapdos kind of sucks with BDSP because it only has access to electric type special attacks, he could pull some funny business and go into Mamoswine, so I just go for the U-turn, but instead he is going to stay in and go for the beat up, which is going to hit me 6 times because he has 6 remaining Pokemon on his team. Now, out of all those times that he hits me, I don't paralyze him once, so not so great luck already, and I'm just going to go into the U-turn and switch out here. Unfortunately, if I had gone for Discharge, it would have definitely wrecked that Ambipom and had a even bigger chance of paralyzing it, but it is what it is. I have to commit to my decision. Now here I'm thinking I could go into Medicham, but maybe Staraptor might be my best bet. I kind of like Staraptor because Staraptor is Scarfed and it has a higher base speed anyway, so I'm just going to bring in Staraptor and go for the close combat. Also with Medicham, if I do go for the high jump kick, its accuracy is 90%. I don't want to risk missing it and then like cutting my HP in half, so I'm thinking this is the play. I'm just going to go right into Staraptor, go for the close combat. And now if you noticed, 4 out of 6 of his Pokemon are weak to fighting type attacks, which really isn't super balanced on his part. I mean, it's not balanced at all, but it's good for me. He could predict the Brave Bird and go into Tyranitar and I can just sock him with the close combat. Instead, he does leave in the Ambipom. I guess maybe not expecting that I was Scarfed, or maybe he just didn't want to risk bringing in something else. And that's a dead Ambipom, which is great because that thing is super fast and speed tier is super important in BDSP. So I get rid of a big threat and I'm feeling good. Now, I can pretty much wreck his entire team with Staraptor. However, that Mamoswine can come in, go for the Ice Shard, and that's what I'm kind of wary about. I have to tiptoe around that, and my opponent does bring in the Mamoswine here. So I don't want to risk, you know, like I said, any funny business. I'm trying to tiptoe around this Mamoswine. I could bring in my own Mamoswine because I have thick fat, but I think my my real intention is to go into Slowbro, and since I'm defensive, and take whatever hit he's going to throw at me, because I am predicting an Ice Shard or even Stealth Rocks. If he goes to the Stealth Rocks, no big deal, he does, and now I could just start setting up if I want. I could attack him, I could start Calm Minding, whatever I want to do. I have a good type advantage, so I'm not entirely worried. The best thing for me to do here is just go for Scald. It'll leave a huge dent in the Mamoswine. I could potentially burn it, so feeling good there. But actually this Mamoswine is carrying Freeze Dry, which in my opinion, very rarely do you see Mamoswine carrying Freeze Dry. I know some definitely do, but look how much damage Scald does. I wish it burned him. It is what it is. But regardless, I have to switch out here because I do want to preserve my Slowbro as much as possible. And I'm just going to go into Frostlass because when he goes for another Freeze Dry, it's not going to do much. So I'm going to switch out here, go into my Frostlass. That Freeze Dry shouldn't do anything to me, and hopefully he leaves in Mamoswine as Death Fodder and I can just Shadow Ball him, and that's that. So he's going to go for Freeze Dry, and it does nothing. So unfortunately, Stealth Rocks are on the field, so Frostlass is taking a huge dent from that. It just sucks. I wish Ice types definitely got a huge buff. I'm hoping for that in the next gen. Kind of hoping that Stealth Rocks get nerfed too. But we'll see. So he's actually going to switch out into Tyranitar here. I wanted to go for Shadow Ball just in case he left in Mamoswine. Now, even though it has thick fat, I'm 95% certain Ice Beam would have finish it off, but just to be certain, I went for the Shadow Ball, and I get a crit, which is nice, but there's not really a lot for me to do here. So I'm thinking with a Tyranitar on the field, I might want to go for the taunt just in case he's trying to scare me out and set up Dragon Dance. I don't want that to be the case. So I'm just going to go for taunt. If I misplay here and he just goes for an attacking move, it is what it is. I'd rather be safe than sorry. Frostlass is not the star of the show for this battle. It's just here for speed, and since that Ambipom is gone, I'm not entirely worried. I have some other big threats on my team that can definitely clean up. So he actually does go for the Thunderbolt, and it's showing me that he's a mixed Tyranitar, maybe. I actually don't know. I haven't seen him use a physical move. Maybe he's a special attacker. But yeah, so Frostlass goes down to the Sandstorm. Unfortunate there, but like I said, Frostlass was not my main focus for this team. It was just something I wanted for speed purposes, and because I haven't used Frostlass in a while, so why not? So now I'm going to switch into Medicham here. I could go for the high jump kick. Maybe he'll realize that he doesn't have a good switch in and just leave in Tyranitar, or he might switch into something like Hitmonchan maybe, or I don't even know. Like if he brings in Honchkrow, Honchkrow has horrible defenses, so he really doesn't have a switch, but he is going to switch anyway and go into Mamoswine. So Mamoswine is his fodder, and I'm praying that I hit, and I do, which is great because it would have been such a waste to not get out the Mamoswine at such low HP. So Mamoswine goes down, and Medicham is already at 1 kill, which didn't require much, but I'll take it. So now I'm thinking, what is he going to bring in? Maybe he brings in Honchkrow. He could Sucker Punch me. He could, I don't even know. But instead he goes into Lucario, and I'm like, okay. So I'm just going to high jump kick again because I am Scarfed. Maybe this thing is Scarfed too. Maybe he's going to go for Extreme Speed. Instead he doesn't. I go for the high jump kick. Is it sashed? It's not. Lucario goes down, so Medicham is collecting those kills. Yeah, Medicham's trying to claim all those kills on his taxes, so bad joke. But instead now my opponent's going to go into back to the game. He's going to go into Honchkrow, and I'm thinking I could just stay in. I have been narrating and saying this thing could go for Sucker Punch for I think twice now I've said it. But I think when I was playing, I didn't realize, and I completely forgot what Honchkrow was capable of. He gets a crit too, which is really salt on the wound, and he's gonna get a Moxie boost, which is terrifying because Honchkrow at base 125 attack is so scary with a Moxie boost. And now that it has priority moves, it's just even scarier. So I have to really be careful with what I do because Slowbro is my defensive buff to this team, but it's not going to be able to take a Sucker Punch for sure. So I have to bring a Mamoswine here. I have a higher base speed, and I also have priority. So my priority is going to out-priority his priority, if that makes any sense. I'm going to go for the Ice Shard, and it should do a lot. It does. I was hoping that it would KO because Honchkrow's stats really aren't good aside from its attack. And, I mean, it has, I guess, decent HP, right? I think it's like base 100. Don't claim me on... Oh, yeah, it is 100. So I go for the Ice Shard. He tries Sucker Punching me, but he can't. I'm going to go for it a second time, and that is a dead Honchkrow. He probably should have switched, maybe. I don't know what he would have switched into. Oh, maybe Hitmonchan. He probably should have switched into Hitmonchan and preserved his Honchkrow because it definitely had a huge advantage over my team. My Zapdos is definitely injured. My Slowbro is weak to him, and Staraptor is not very strong defensive-wise, so he should have made the Hitmonchan play a turn ago as opposed to now. So it is what it is. You live and learn. So I bring in Slowbro now against his Hitmonchan. He's going to Rapid Spin, which is interesting. I don't have Stealth Rocks on the field, but maybe he's just trying to get a speed boost, which I guess is the case. I'm going to go for Scald here, and he's going to go for the Thunder Punch. Thunder Punch does a good amount of damage. He gets another crit, and I'm hoping for a burn here. That would be great, just so I can kind of like even the playing field, and no burn. So that sucks. I don't know if I stay in here. I don't remember. I think do I? Maybe. Let's see. I actually forgot. And I guess I leave Slowbro in as fodder. He's going to Drain Punch. I'm happy I did in that case because if I switched into anything else, he would have gotten a lot more HP back. So I'm glad I did that. Slowbro, unfortunately, doesn't get a whole big opportunity to do a lot in this match, but it just how the cookie crumbles, I guess. So now I have to switch into something smart, and I'm thinking STARAPTOR really ultimately is the best bet. I think the only priority move that Hitmonchan gets is like Mach Punch and Fake Out, and I'm not even sure if this thing is carrying Mach Punch, so, and he can't Fake Out obviously, so I'm gonna bring in STARAPTOR and just probably, thinking about it, what does he have left? He has Tyranitar, he has Hitmonchan, is that it? Tyranitar and Hitmonchan? Regardless, I end up going into STARAPTOR because, I mean, I'm going to be locked into a move. So I was nervous about going for Brave Bird, him switching in Tyranitar, and then I'm kind of screwed there. So I'm thinking I'm just going to go for close combat, cross my fingers, hope that I can take him out with a close combat. I should be able to. Or you know what, maybe I Brave Bird here. I think I do. Yes, I do Brave Bird here because I figured even if he switched into Tyranitar, I had a way around that. I could have just sacked off like Zapdos or something. Or even Mamoswine, truthfully. It would have been fine. Considering that this Tyranitar may have been a special attacker, maybe he didn't bring in Tyranitar anticipating the Brave Bird. Regardless, it was the right play. So he's going to bring in T-Tar. I am locked into Brave Bird, so now I'm just going to switch out into my Zapdos as fodder. I'm pretty sure, yes. I don't know. I can't remember what I do in my battles. I switch out into Zapdos, I believe as fodder. Just in case, I didn't want to like have to worry about Mamoswine taking a ton of damage from something, like maybe like a rock move. And he actually goes for the Thunderbolt anyway, and I'm just going to have to go into STARAPTOR and clean up with close combat. I'm not worried at all. He has one Pokemon left. I have Mamoswine and I have STARAPTOR, so I'm in great shape. And close combat is 4 times effective on this thing, so regardless, GG's to my opponent. It's going to be the game because there's no way he can take a close combat from a very, very powerful STARAPTOR. And it is going to land close combat to the face, and that's game. So like I said, great game to my opponent. I had a blast. I like playing with other types of Pokemon. So the Hitmonchan, the Honchkrow, and even seeing Ambipom was super fun. I like variety. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you're not subscribed, I hope you do subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.